Welcome back to Left Fence Cocktails. It's time for a gin review, but this time it's a gin review of a non-alcoholic spirit replacement style gin. This is going to be the Ritual Gin. I've gotten into some non-alcoholic cocktails and mocktails for friends and family who want to have the interesting tastes and experiences of cocktails, but obviously don't want the alcohol. And I think this is a really fun way for me personally to further develop my cocktail skills, because I love making cocktails, and sometimes making cocktails with the ingredients that are out there are just, it's kind of on easy mode because there's so many options. But with non-alcoholic cocktails or mocktails, whatever, it's a lot more challenging because you expect a certain flavor profile from a fake gin or a fake Campari or non-alcoholic red bitter or gin or something. And it just doesn't always get you there. And so it forces you to be more creative to get to some of those flavors that you might be looking for. So I do want to do more of these non-alcoholic gin reviews because, for one, I do think that non-alcoholic gins are definitely like the best non-alcoholic option there is. I've tried bourbon, rum, like a spritz type non-alcoholic replacement, and to me nothing has come quite as close in the spirits category as gin, because generally you get that full like botanical flavor without that alcohol and ethanol burn, which some people might prefer anyway. So tonight we're gonna do the Ritual, and what's cool about this is that it has some juniper berries. It's got capsaicin in there for a little bit of spice, prickly ash, peppermint leaf, and green lemongrass in the botanical mix to try to make it more gin-like, and those spicy capsaicin really tries to provide some of the burn. On a side note, I've made some simple syrup that I usually add to my non-alcoholic cocktails now, that it's a very highly concentrated like habanero syrup, and typically just like 1 bar spoon in there will make the cocktail have a lot more burn, reminiscent of like that alcohol and ethanol burn that you'd find in your like real alcoholic experience. But off topic now, let's go ahead and try this Ritual non-alcoholic gin replacement. On the nose, it smells like pine, to be honest. Like if you picked up a handful of like pine needles and you just give it a good strong smell, that is exactly what this is reminiscent of. And obviously this isn't meant to be drink neat. You're supposed to put this in a cocktail or mocktail to get that gin flavor. I don't think anyone is going to a non-alcoholic spirit to say, let me drink this neat. Let's give it a try though. I'm gonna try it neat because you guys want to know. Okay, I do get some of those like pepper capsaicin notes. It does have some spice going on instantly, which is kind of cool actually. I've never had that in a non-alcoholic spirit when I've tried it neat. It is a little bit watery, I'll be honest, and I don't get too much other flavors like any juniper really, which is surprising. And yeah, I'm really picking up like a watery burn, which is interesting because I've made cocktails with this already and I found them to be pretty good. But this doesn't seem to have much on its own, not a big surprise. Let's go ahead and try it in the tried and true gimlet format. All right, now it's time for the non-alcoholic gimlet. This is 2 ounces of our Ritual gin alternative, 3/4 ounce of lime juice, 1/2 ounce rich simple syrup, the same exact formula that I would use on any other gin review because I want to keep it consistent. Let's give it a smell. Nothing, like not even lime, absolutely nothing on the nose. Very interesting. Kind of weird though. All right, I'm gonna give it a try. Okay, with the the simple syrup in there really amping up what flavors there are, I do get a little bit more of that pine taste and a little bit of juniper. But overall, I am a little bit disappointed. This isn't as flavorful as the last non-alcoholic gin that I tried. That one was really good. Honestly, it had a good juniper taste, even neat, and in cocktails it really stood out a lot. But this one seems a little bit mediocre, which I'm a little bit disappointed in. Yeah, I mean, the simple syrup is doing its best to pull out those flavors. I get a little bit of that spice from the capsaicin burn, and again, a little bit of the pine flavor, but a lot of lime juice, obviously, from the traditional gimlet format. And that's why I like to use this format so much, because across all the gins I try, I do the exact same format across the board. 2 ounces of gin, 3/4 ounce of lime juice, 1/2 ounce rinse simple syrup. And that really helps me to really get a good standard baseline of the gin. The neat, the gimlet, And this one I'm just not getting a lot from, which is, again, a little bit disappointing. But the good news is there's a lot of gin alternatives out there, and I just happened to get this one because this is kind of the most common one. You can find this one at Target for like $25. And so I figured I would try this one and then work around to some other ones. But yeah, a little disappointed. This isn't as flavorful, but I will say, like, you know, sweet and lime juice with a little bit of spice in the background. Like, it's doing something. Maybe this is actually closer to like a vodka gimlet. I don't know. I'm gonna give this one like maybe like a 4 or 5 out of 10. Not my favorite, but it does the trick in some cocktails. Anyway, if you like the video, please like and subscribe, and cheers. I'm gonna have this nice, well, this sort of nice gin alternative gimlet. Cheers.